Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing. To apply or change the various visual effects settings for a selected image, click the Effects category icon within the Format Picture task pane. This will display the different category groupings, such as shadow, reflection, glow, and so on. You can click the Shadow category grouping to expand it if needed, and this will display the options that you have for applying a shadow to your selected image. You can apply one of the preset shadow styles by clicking one from the preset drop-down. To customize a shadow, start by choosing a shadow color from the Color drop-down. You can set the transparency of the shadow by using the Transparency slider. You can set the size of the shadow by selecting a percentage from the Size slider. You can use the Blur slider to set the amount of blurring applied to the edge of the shadow. You can angle the shadow by entering the desired angle into the Angle text box or by moving the slider to the desired setting. You can control the amount of vertical offset that is applied to the shadow by using the Distance slider to set the amount, measured in points, of vertical offset to apply. You can click the Reflection category grouping to expand it if needed and display the options you have for applying or altering a reflection of your selected image. You can select a preset reflection to apply by choosing one from the preset drop-down. You can use the sliders that are adjacent to the Transparency, Size, Blur, and Distance spinner boxes to create a custom reflection for your image. These settings are very similar to the settings found under the Shadow Grouping tab, so they should seem familiar. You can click the Glow category grouping to expand it and display the options you have for applying or altering any glowing effects applied to your selected image. You can apply a preset glowing effect by selecting one from the preset drop-down. You can create a custom glowing effect or modify a preset glow by choosing a color from the glowing effects from the Color drop-down. You can also enter values into the Size and Transparency spinner boxes or use the adjacent sliders to create a custom glow for your image. You can click the Soft Edges category group to expand it and display the options that you have for applying or altering any soft edge effects applied to your image. Once again, you can use a preset image and then you can use the Size slider to adjust the size of the soft edges. You can click the 3D Format category grouping to expand it and display the options that you have for applying or altering any 3D effects applied to your image. Use the top bevel and bottom bevel drop-down buttons to select a style and thickness of beveling to apply. You can then enter values into the adjacent width and height spinner boxes for each beveling style to alter the width and height of the selected beveling style. Use the Depth Color drop-down to select a color for the beveling depth. You can also set the depth amount by using the adjacent size spinner box. Likewise, use the Contour Color drop-down to select a color for the beveling contour. You can also set the contour amount by using the adjacent size spinner box. Use the Material drop-down to select the type of material that the 3D effect should emulate. Then use the Lighting drop-down to select an intensity and style of lighting to apply. You can then use the Angle spinner box to set the angle of the lighting if desired. If you wish to reset your image after applying any 3D formatting that you do not like, you can click the Reset button at the bottom of this category grouping to reset the image and to remove the 3D formatting. You can click the 3D Rotation category grouping to expand it if needed, and display the options that you have for applying or altering any 3D rotation effects applied to your selected image. You can easily apply a 3D rotation by selecting one from the preset drop-down. You can then create or alter a selected 3D rotation using the other settings within the category grouping. You can enter a rotation angle for the X rotation, Y rotation, and Z rotation into the spinner boxes or by clicking the adjacent rotation buttons. If you selected a perspective style from the presets drop-down, you can enter an angle into the perspective spinner box. If applying a 3D rotation to a text box, you can keep the text appearing flat by checking the Keep Text Flat checkbox. This setting does not apply to pictures, however, and will therefore be unavailable. You can use the Distance from Ground spinner box to set the amount of space that the selected object will appear to be from the ground. If you wish to reset your image after applying any 3D rotation that you do not like, you can click the Reset button at the bottom of this category grouping to reset the image and to remove the 3D rotation. You can click the Artistic Effects category grouping to expand it, and apply an artistic effect to the selected image. Here you can choose an artistic effect that you want to apply from the image from the Artistic Effects drop-down. For each individual artistic effect selected, the options that are shown in the area below will vary depending upon which particular effect was selected. Most will have the ability to set the transparency of the effect by using the slider in the same name. You will also probably have one or two other slider settings for each effect that you can change in order to alter the impact of the selected artistic effect. Just as when applying 3D effects, note that there is also a Reset button at the bottom of this section that you can click to reset any effect changes made to the selected picture. Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.